Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first in what is going to be a monthly series on learning different untapped treasures that sell for big bucks. It's getting more competitive out there, so we definitely want to get in on those things that most sellers will pass by, no matter what your sourcing opportunities are, whether that's yard sales or flea markets or thrift shops or auctions or estate sales. This stuff is everywhere and it gets passed by a whole bunch. So this is the first of many that I'm going to be doing. If you would like to ask any questions. We're going to try to hold those questions off to the end. Now, this webinar today is not going to go into the meat and potatoes of all this. Of course, this is just a little teaser of what's coming up in next week's webinar, just so you know. But I do have April over there in the chat to answer any questions. If you're looking for a link to get somewhere or something, we have that over there for you. Okie dokie. And with that, let me just make sure if you guys can just give me a heads up that you can hear me okay and you can see my screen, and then we'll get started. Good, good. Yay. I was good when you guys can hear me. Yes, yes, yes. Wonderful, wonderful. All right. Good job. Okay, so like I said, we're going to do one of these each month, with April being the EAPG and American Brilliant Glass. And EAPG is also known as Early American Press Glass or Pattern Glass. It's just the little acronym for it. And American Brilliant Glass. Starting with this because these are my first love. I collect the EAPG myself, and I do a lot of work with the American Brilliant. So love, love, love this kind of glass, and there's a big market for it out there. From there, we're going to go on to Murano and other Venetian glass that fits into that category. Really show you the pieces that make you the big bucks. Contemporary art glass. A lot of people don't realize that there's glass being made today that is worth hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. So we're going to cover those types of contemporary art glass as well. Depression glass. It is, I hate to say, depressed market in the depression glass world, but there are some patterns and there's some pieces that still sell for a lot of money, and we're going to tap into those. Crystal and other clear glass, and those would be things like things that are like Waterford and Baccarat, and some of those really fine names, how to figure out which ones those are and how to get the most money for them. And then we're going to veer off of glass and we're going to talk about fine art, because any of you watch my shows on Sunday nights, you know that I love to pick up pieces of fine art because it's like kind of like playing the lottery. If you get a piece that's well done and you pick your numbers right, quote unquote, it can potentially bring you thousands or more. We hear about it all the time. Those fine art pieces that end up in the thrift shops that get passed by until some lucky eBay seller happens to grab it and make tons of money. Then there's other kinds of art, which would be sculptures. Other types don't fit in with paintings or prints, and we'll cover those. Then we're going to talk about antiques in general, what sort of antiques to look for. And last but not least, collectibles that bring big money, because there's contemporary collectibles that are also really, really good money makers. And these are all things that you will be able to find no matter where you're sourcing out there. So each topic, when I do one of these topics, each one's going to cover where to find it, the best places for you to find it, and within those different venues or types of sales, where within that sale is the best place to find it, how to identify it and know you found it. That's a biggie. How to price it. Oh my gosh, you guys, I see so many underpriced pieces out there on eBay. In fact, you don't even need to leave your home to find these items. You can buy them on eBay and turn around and sell them because there are so many sellers underpricing these quality pieces because they just don't know what they have usually. How to photograph it. This becomes a biggie especially when it comes to like the clear glass. The clear glass is really tricky. Some of the artwork really tricky. So I am going to make sure that you have every piece of the puzzle in order to get your maximum profits out of these pieces. So I'm going to show you how to photograph it, how to list it, which means what sort of words, what do the buyers of these higher priced items call it? What are they putting in the search box? That's really important to know in order to get those maximum profits. How to package and ship it. I know you're going to get the sale when all is said and done, so I want to make sure you know how to get it out the door safely. This is another reason that so many sellers don't even want to go into glass and artwork and these higher price things. They're just kind of scared of that whole process. So all of this is going to be covered in the main webinar that we're going to do next week. So this webinar, like I said, today is just a little introduction and what's coming. So the webinar is next Monday, April 22nd at 1 p.m. Pacific time. I do everything in Pacific time. I'm a West Coast girl, so whenever you hear me talking times, it's always Pacific time. You can sign up for it right over at thedanniapp.com special-webinars. Now, these are a paid webinar, and for the next 48 hours only, you can get it for 59 bucks. It's going to go up after that, or I've got even a better deal for you. We have what's called the Appsters Behind the Scenes membership, and as an Appster, you get all 9 of the webinars in the Untapped Treasure series that I'm doing for just $29.95 a month. So not only are you going to get these webinars that I'm doing once a month with all of these particulars that if you sell one piece of this, it's going to pay for the whole thing, but on top of that, you get all the benefits of being an Appster as well. And what we do within the Appsters is we have a weekly coaching webinar where you get to ask the questions. So I never know ahead of time what we're going to be covering in those webinars because it all depends on what's going on in your business. Maybe something that you found at an estate sale or something and you have no idea how to identify it or list it. We do that sort of things. We analyze stores. We go through a listing, and if something hasn't sold, we brainstorm on how to get the sale on that. So we do that once a week. Then of course we have specialty workshops. In fact, today we are starting our eBay stores tune-up. And basically we go piece by piece through an eBay store, find all the pieces that are not being utilized to drive the most traffic in there. We just got done about a month ago, we did what we call the Danni map, which is the business plan for eBay store owners. And we're going to be doing several more of these workshops through the rest of the year. We're going to go into social media and how to make that all work for you. Because nowadays, eBay, let's face it, eBay is not bringing the traffic in for you. We have to start doing it ourselves. So that's what we cover in these specialty workshops, is how to get those customers to you. We have a discussion forum on the website that's just for members, and we have a secret Facebook group. And the secret Facebook group is where you get that personal access to me. That's where I spend most of my time on Facebook, is talking with the Appsters, and we problem solve and we go through things there. So that is for Appsters only. Plus, whenever I find a really good service or something happening out there, I negotiate and get you guys really good deals and discounts and special offers anytime I put out a new book or something you get an Napster discount. That's part of membership. And of course, you're going to get access to getting assistance finding those better items to sell. Like I said, I spend a lot of time over on that Facebook group. So if you're out thrifting or sourcing or shopping and you find something and you can snap a picture on your smartphone and send it to the group, we can usually get you an answer on whether that's something you want to pick up. Because a lot of these items you have to spend a little bit more money. It's a little scarier to take that plunge and jump into these things. So this kind of gives you that assurance that you're not just going to throw money away. So that's what you get with the Appsters membership, and it's really easy to just go over, sign up. We got the big green button over there, and that'll show you, if you push that button, it's going to show you all the different things you get with the Danni app membership if you were thinking about doing that. Okay, so this is why you want to look for early American press glass. And the names early American press glass, early American pattern glass, those are interchangeable. They're basically the same thing. It's just different people call them different things. They are pattern glass, and they are pressed glass. So EAPG is the preferred terminology of collectors. Now, I myself am a collector of two different patterns of this type of glass. When I started out, I just collected all of it. And I soon found out you can't do that unless you want to run a museum, because there's not enough room in any one household to put all this stuff. But basically, this is glass that was developed to bring an affordable solution to people that wanted the American Brilliant glass or the cut glass, which we'll talk about in just a second. So along the years, there became more and more competition with all the different manufacturers of coming up with a new pattern, something great that, people were going to want to do their tables with. Now, you got to remember back in the day, everyone used glass. We didn't have like, Melmac and plastic and paper plates. Glass went on the table. You ate on glass, you drank out of glass, all of your condiments and different aspects of the dinner were served in glass, and glass was a big deal. And so most of these patterns that you'll find out there have several different pieces that go with them. And collectors today will decide on a pattern that they love and start putting together all the pieces for their collection. And even like me, with the two patterns that I collect, I'll get duplicates of the same pieces just because I know how rare it is. It's this You can't go and get this at the store anymore. This is, as it breaks and disappears, it disappears forever. This was glass that was made in the 1800s. So once it's gone, it's gone. So collectors will start paying crazy, crazy prices to get these types of glass. I can tell you personally, I collect this pattern right here, which is called Deer and Dog. And it's a really rare pattern. And so when it comes up, and I'm telling you, I'm finding it more and more, it's crazy. So the ones with the dogs, of course, that's going to be really easy to spot when you're out there, but I'll show you there's pieces that are like plain Jane pieces. Most people would pass by and not even know it's this pattern. I actually participated in bidding on this auction, but I did not win because it was out of my budget at this point. But there are several patterns out there that bring these prices. I mean, this is just a small sample of the kind of prices you can get for this glass. And like I said, there's different collectors, collect different patterns, and all you need is to find one rare piece and get two collectors in that want it, and you're going to get these prices. Now, not every piece is going to sell for these high prices, of course, but many of them do, and they sell in the hundreds if you price it right. Of course, you can find lots of this out there on eBay for, sometimes even 10, 15, 20 bucks because the sellers don't know what they have. I don't want you to do that. I want you to get these prices. Totally doable. And then if you go over here, This is the American Brilliant Glass. And you can see there's some similarities in these types of glasses. Now, American Brilliant isn't going to have patterns with dogs and people and that sort of thing. American Brilliant actually originated from the early 1800s. There was the wealthy here in America were importing European cut glass, and it was very, very expensive. So the middle class families, they could not get in on that. They just couldn't afford it. But they wanted this nice glass too. So some of the American glass makers decided they were going to start mimicking some of these European makers' glass so that they could bring a more affordable solution to the American families. So there was a particular period of time from about the mid 1800s into just about when World War One started is called the American Brilliant period, and this is where it became really, really popular. There was some particular companies within the American Brilliant period that really skyrocketed this because they got their patterns into some big expos, even over in Europe. So now the Europeans were accepting these new American glassmakers' pieces, and they were wanting it and bringing it over. So that's when it just really got huge. And most pieces will not be signed. You will not be able to identify this by a signature. And that's another reason even nice auction houses and things sell this type of glass and a lot of times really don't know what they have, because unless it has like a name on it or the person who's turning it in to sell as having it consigned, uh, they don't know and they don't research. I can tell you, auction houses do not sit there and research all this stuff. They don't have time. Their purpose is to turn it fast. So you can find a lot of this at auctions and estate sales. I find this stuff at estate sales completely taken for granted all the time. So the reason it wasn't signed is because these American glass makers were mimicking the European makers. They didn't want people to know that it wasn't the quote unquote real thing. So they just didn't sign their pieces until later in the period when it became acceptable. These American makers became popular. They were out there on their own accord. Then you started finding the signed pieces, and I'll be able to show you how to spot those signatures because it ain't easy. Actually, it took me quite a while to figure that out. But you can see these prices are absolutely not uncommon with American Brilliant. And some of you might remember my recent trip to Seattle where I went up to Janelle Elms of the OSI Rock Stars. She had me come up there and actually list a whole bunch of American Brilliant glass that she'd purchased at an estate sale. And she's got so much profit built into it that she could afford to hire me, fly me up there to go and work for her for 3 days, and she's still going to make thousands of dollars because this stuff, uh, because collectors know if you want a piece of this, you have to pay the price, especially for these better pieces. So that's something I'm really going to go in depth on is knowing which are the in-depth pieces. So that's just a little bit, again, we're going to show you where to find it, how to identify it, how to price it, how to photograph it, how to list it, and how to package and ship it. So I'm going to leave you from this webinar knowing how to sell those pieces that are worth thousands of dollars. You're going to get every piece of the puzzle, every piece of the puzzle in this, and I absolutely get so excited when I see someone who has kind of jumped out of their comfort zone and bought some of this glass with kind of my urging, because I think everybody should be out looking for glass. And I get just as excited when you get those crazy big sales as if it were my own sale. I love it. And I'm telling you, it happens every day. So again, it is next Monday, April 22nd, 1 p.m. Pacific time. You can just purchase the one webinar over on the DanniApp.com special webinars page, and that's going to be $59. Or if you wanted to get all the benefits of the behind the scenes membership of the Appsters, that's all 9 webinars at just $29.95 a month. And I will tell you, the price of membership will be going up soon. And one of the other perks that I have is the price never goes up. Once you're in, you're in. As long as your membership continues, you are in. Never goes up. So, and again, to see all the benefits of membership, you just go over to the DanniApp.com, look for the big green button on the front page there. Pretty easy to find. And with that, guys, go be profitable and make it fun. Let me see if I got any questions here I can answer for you real quick. The webinars are going to run about an hour. And you will be able to ask any questions. I want to leave you knowing everything you need to know in order to get these sales. They will all be recorded. Those are accessible either if you are an Appster or if you pay for the recorded version. Absolutely. We record everything. And those, the Appsters know this. I have a lot of Appsters on the call today. Thank you. All of the things that I do are recorded. So if you can't attend live, you can go back and watch those and review those. Everything's recorded, and we do different times to try to make it available for the majority. Let's give everybody a chance to be live on these. And you can always send in your questions ahead and we get those answered as well. All right. So with that, guys, I didn't want to take too much of your time. Like I said, go be profitable, make it fun. Thanks for being here.